At the moment, the number of airlines that are currently operating out of King Shaka International Airport, those that do international flights. Obviously, Emirates was the first one to start a daily service in 2009. Air Mauritius has been there, obviously, all along. They withdrew their service for a while, and then they came back. They've now got a twice weekly service. We've also had ProFlight from Zambia. We also have South African Express that does Zambia, Zimbabwe. And we've welcomed Turkish Airlines, who started flying into KwaZulu-Natal, Durban, through a tech operation to Joburg on the 5th of November. We also expecting Ethiopian Airlines to start flying into Durban on the 16th of December 2015, and then on the 17th of December, we then expecting Qatar Airways to also start flying into King Shaka International Airport. For us, it's a very positive development for our airport because we've been at this for quite a long time. And obviously, we believe that what has also happened is that the profile of King Shaka International Airport was increased quite significantly together with that of our destination, Durban and KwaZulu-Natal, leading up to the hosting of the World Routes, which is obviously quite a big platform for international airlines.
Well, you've touched on this already, but just in case you have something more to say about it, what will this increased air access mean for tourism to the region? And how will this put Durban and KZN in general on the map, in the international map for international travelers?
Well, the arrival of the new additional airlines into KwaZulu-Natal, firstly, it gives us different options in terms of how people can begin to come to KwaZulu-Natal. If I sort of give you an example that there's a huge, about 30% estimated stimulus that comes with each and every destination that gets launched by an airline. Because you remember, when the airline launches a route, they also deploy marketing resources to promote that route to make sure that it's sustainable. They work with their tour operators. We start getting new itineraries or packages being formulated, and also you get a lot of reconfiguration of itineraries, some of them which were driven through a bus route that being directed to fly to your destination directly. Also, what it does, it increases the convenience of going to a destination whereby someone may have been discouraged from going to a certain place because they felt, you needed to take too many aeroplanes to get there. Now, all of a sudden, there's a direct service that goes there. People say, look, let's try it out. We've already seen it. If you look at our aviation statistics, we have quite a market increase in the number of international arrivals in terms of numbers, purely because of additional air services that have come in, as well as the stimulus factor as well. What it also leads to is the reconfiguration of itineraries and improved length of stay by tour operators, packages that they put in the area. Therefore, we have increased spend on tourism, and also the stimulation of supplementary or support services, whereas in the past where you did not have a direct service that goes to an airport, therefore there was no need for some of the bus operators, for example, to set up depots or operation in your area because you were not the originator of some of the routes. And now that people are now flying directly, you then get increased investment in terms of bus infrastructure, and also just the DMCs, how they begin to take the destination quite seriously.
What makes KZN specifically an attractive leisure and business destination for international travelers? What sets it apart? What sets it apart?
Well, what sets KwaZulu-Natal apart from all the other destinations, firstly, is that, our biggest strength is that within a 3-hour radius, basically, you can be able to experience everything that you would need to arrange different holidays to experience or take another trip or another flight. Because if you fly into Durban, for example, within 3 hours you could be in the oldest game reserve in Africa, and within 3 hours you are sitting at the World Heritage Site, South Africa's first World Heritage Site, Isimangaliso, and also at the same time you could be up in the Drakensberg mountain range, and also obviously, you know, you got 600 kilometers of coastline with warm sea water, which means you can swim 365 days a year. Also, you know, protected beaches as well. Average temperature is actually quite good, that we are a truly year-round destination with very mild weather, you know, particularly in what would be referred to as our winter season. And that's basically also the part of the education that we're busy, you know, telling some of the tour operators that, look, there's no need for them to redirect some of their itineraries for, you know, what is South Africa's winter season, because we have a very stable weather, very warm. You can swim, you know, on our seas, you know, every time of the year. I mean, in June, July, our average sea temperature is about 23 degrees. That's warmer than some of the seas in Europe during their peak summer period. So those are some of the things that make KwaZulu-Natal very strong. And also, you know, we have very deep and rich culture, you know, in terms of the Zulu heritage itself, which is basically a very true experience. People that are wanting to come and learn more about the indigenous people of Africa, there's a very rich history, as well as some of the previous battles that were fought, Anglo-Zulu War, Anglo-Boer War, as well as the whole Indian culture that is obviously very present in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And therefore, we really truly believe that if you come to KwaZulu-Natal, you will experience everything that you ever wanted to see when you come to Africa without embarking on many multiple destinations. The other thing also, as a business destination, Durban is obviously a port city. KwaZulu-Natal is predominantly a port province consisting of two main ports, which is the Richards Bay and Durban. Durban being obviously the main gateway for import and export into South Africa, and them combined, they account for about 80%. And that port economy drives a lot and also assists in us having a fairly diversified economy, because the economy of the port is actually quite big. We also set up a Durban KZN Convention Bureau in 2010, which was aimed at positioning KwaZulu-Natal and Durban as a conferencing business events destination, being obviously home of South Africa's first truly international convention center, which was subsequently expanded. I think we've taken that on our strides. We've seen a market improvement in our ICA rankings, but we're not just only looking at ICA rankings alone. We're also targeting mega exhibition events that we also want to host. We've hosted in Daba many times, and we want to continue hosting a lot more events. We also have some on a lifestyle side, some fairly unique events that are homegrown. If you look at the Vodacom Durban July, for example, it's the biggest horse racing event in Africa, the same stable as the Kentucky Derby, Melbourne Cup, and attracting more than 50,000. You may have seen the profile of the event is changing, you know, from it being about horse racing to being about lifestyle. I think you've seen the average length of stay has increased from 1 night to like 4 nights. Festivities now starts on a Thursday, and by Sunday people are still here having a big party. And for us, it's about having a one big week of celebration and lifestyle that we're going to have. And I think we actually well on track in terms of that. The other thing also is the ultimate race, which is the Comrades Marathon. I think it's one of the very few races where your success is not measured in terms of the position that you achieve, but in terms of your ability to finish the race. I don't think there's any other race where you get recognized and praised for being able to finish the race. It's not about winning. No one ever talks about you won, but people will respect you for being able to run the Comrades first because you got the guts, and secondly for finishing. It's not about you were number one or number two, and that's the ultimate test of human spirit.
In terms of, and this was not on the list that I sent you, but in terms of source markets, do you foresee that it will only be Qatar and Turkey, or can we expect more increase from all over the world? And if so, then which would be the source markets that you can see growing?
Well, the source market, we've got our own traditional tourism source market, which is obviously the UK, Germany, France, Netherlands, the USA, but increasingly also we're seeing, a lot of tourists coming out of China, India, and we believe that, the airlines that are coming here are network operators. So basically our working relationship with them is not on originating and direct only. We're not looking at us working with Turkish Airlines to bring people from Turkey, but we're looking at the entire network. So we just came back from World Travel Market now. We had discussions with the team from Qatar. We're not just looking at bringing people from Doha. We're looking at the network strength, what is its alignment with our key source market strategy, how can we work with their country managers so that we are able to work within their network and bring people directly into KZN and Durban. And that's the same thing that applies with most airlines now, that the network operators, that is what they're looking for, because they're moving people from one point through their hub into many different points, and it's about being in that space. So we really believe that through the working relationship that we're formulating with these airlines, we're going to be able to achieve that. Same thing I was watching when I was coming back from World Travel Market. The departure times in that afternoon, there were a couple of flights going to Istanbul, which someone who's coming to Durban can easily get on it, arrive in Istanbul, connect, come directly to Durban. Same thing also with Ethiopian Airlines, the Ethiopian Airline flight that was departing that same time, straight line into Addis Ababa, you down into Durban. So we're not just looking at direct between that airport and that airport, but we're looking at the entire network in terms of how we can cooperate and work with them, and we will utilize the strength of their network to work with us in terms of also marketing more in our key source markets.